starting grid, where the Motogp riders are ready to start the race. Tension is sky high, but these guys are seasoned pros, able to withstand any kind of pressure. Everything here is ready to start the race at Termas de Rio Hondo. Riders just have one thing on their mind now, being the first to cross the finish line.
Of that front row. So here we go. We're at Termas de Rio Hondo in Argentina. Round 3 of the Motogp World Championship. And what a start by Marquez and Espargaro.
Finally running in first place up the inside of Marquez. Bad start, but he's back down to about 6th or 7th. Espargaro got away well on the Suzuki. He leads Marquez. Valentino Rossi bumps out a bit at turn 2.
Espargaro leads away through turn 3. This is the fastest part of the circuit, 1 kilometre long. So they come down towards turn 5. A Suzuki leads a Grand Prix race, perhaps not for long. The extra horsepower of our Honda just races past.
Right around the outside of Espargaro at turn 6, leading the chase of Marquez. We said it was a bad start for Ian and bump back from 3rd to 6th.
Yeah, I think that Honda realises as well that he's got to be careful. Pressure from Marquez will try and get away. The Lacius Espargaro fights back once again, then runs it a little bit wide. So he comes down now into turn 11. Marquez is getting away at the front.
Back underneath Espargaro at turn 11. Marquez already trying to make a break. 0.3 of a second up he was through the first 3 sectors. Espargaro again up the inside, up down at turn 13. Runs it a little bit wide into 2nd. End of the first lap. Marquez leads.
Just where he wanted to be with that tyre choice. He's opening up an advantage. 0.8 of a second already as they fight it out through turn 1. But they're fighting it out for 2nd place.
Valentino Rossi was started 8th. He's in 8th place at the end of the first lap. No big move from the 36-year-old at the moment. 2nd clear of the field. Lorenzo should win that race down to turn 5.
Here we go into turn 5, he certainly does. Espargaro doesn't want to let him through. Espargaro now round the outside, he's got pushed wide. Espargaro
really pushed out wide at turn 5. That gave Anna the chance to move up into 4th, 1 place on the grid into 3rd. It's now, you look up the inside of Espargaro. Espargaro led the race on the first lap. He's already been dropped back down to 6th.
Now got a bit of clear space to settle into some sort of rhythm. Great start, it makes such a good start in Austin, but for the 2nd round of the grid, super start by the British rider. But Marquez won here last year, he's winning here. But this race may be decided in the last 5 laps.
Loses another place.
Delegated now to 4th place, and he's coming under pressure, enormous pressure from a new record from Marquez. He knew what he had to do, and he has done it from pole position.
Interesting, all those riders around have got the softer tyre than the Spaniard. Is currently the only one at the moment inside the top 6 that's got the extra hard tyre on. Marquez making a big break at the front, already 1.6 seconds clear as Valentino Rossi makes a move up the inside of Lacius Espargaro at turn 5. Espargaro now back down in 7th place.
Yeah, dropping back through the field. There is Valentino Rossi. He has, you can see from the band on his tyre, gone from that extra hard rear tyre choice. One would think, and Yamaha are hoping, it will be an advantage in the latter stages of the race.
First competitive ride here at the Termas de Rio Hondo circuit, doing a great job in 2nd place. Looking for his first podium finish. It's the most on Aragon race. Last September he was on board the Ducati that marked 0.6 seconds clear. He was at the start of this 3rd lap. He stretched that lead out now to almost 2 seconds over.
It'll be up to 2 seconds when they cross the line, and there'll still be 22 laps to go. The gap now is 1.955, almost 2 seconds. Rossi, then a little bit of a gap that early back to 12. Another poor start from Polesparger.
Started from the front row of the grid for the first time this season. Made a bad start, dropped back to 6. He's recovered up to 4th place. He's got Hortin and Rossi behind him, coming under pressure from Rossi. This is at turn 5. They'll pick it up, get the fat part of the tyre, accelerate hard left now through turn 6, 4th gear. Kez going through turn 7.
Yeah, through 7 and 8. That's exactly right. That's what they're telling Marquez. Sun glinting off that familiar number 93 as he comes up the incline through 9 and 10. And they flick it left and it's very fast, turn 11. He wants to break the field very quickly and very early on. That's what he's done. So he's slightly worried, slightly I think being the right word, about how his rear tyre will be when he comes towards the end of the race. He's building up the sort of advantage and it probably won't matter.
He's going to cross the line to complete lap 4, probably with a 2.5 second lead over aerial view on the battle for second. It is indeed a 2.5 second lead. Still holding second from, and Rossi still trying to get.
Would you expect, Dylan, for the Yamahas with that extra hard option to come strong towards the end of the race because it's all the just hard option people in front of them?
I think you certainly would. I think the main problem is they need to make sure that they manage that tyre, because you also don't know how the guys are going to be managing the hard. It also depends on what's going to happen with track temperature. Last year, towards the end of the race, there was some what they call blistering in the tyres. Now, obviously, Bridgestone would have worked to make sure that doesn't happen, but of course, it's very, very tough under a race situation. You would certainly think that the Yamaha would have an advantage. You just don't know at which point that's going to kick in. It might be too late.
Wow, almost too late for Valentino Rossi. He's trying to get past, finding it easy.
Well, think of it. The difference between those guys is Speedy in front, Rossi on the hard one. So you'd imagine Rossi would definitely try and do so under the brakes. He should have a small advantage there.
Inside on the left side, turn 5 in the braking zone. This is the flick through turn in left place. Rossi really closing up though through that fast left-hander. Will Rossi have a look at the inside now at turn 12? Maybe a little bit too far back to attack on this lap. He is indeed
clearing off at the front, but there is just a little doubt, and a little doubt it is about rear tyre choice. We'll only find out when we get into those grey areas, perhaps with a. Yeah, no way he's going to be the flick it left now through 14. They come over actually the start and finish over the finish line, actually still cranked over. 20 laps to go here in Argentina. We'll only find out when we get into the grey areas, perhaps with 5 laps remaining. In the meantime, he's just going to open up a bigger and bigger advantage at the front as we ride with Rossi.
Valentino Rossi in 6th place now, accelerating through turn 4. All the way up to 6th gear, about 210 miles an hour. 2nd place at the moment, keeping those 2 Ducatis at bay right now.
See all over the rear wheel of Rugger, yeah. Just a little mistake there from Crutchlow. He did bring the 2 Ducatis, and we still have 19 laps remaining. Yeah, it's a difficult decision, this tyre choice. And further down the field, it's paying off as well.
Started smoking as he came out of turn 1, and then he went through turn 3. We could see flames pouring out of the belly pan of that Pramac Ducati.
What caused that? Is there any oil being dropped? And he had to abandon the bike quickly. He didn't want to, but he had to. It was Valentino Rossi. Then we have got
to 2nd place. Thankfully, all the riders got through the 1st sector without any problem. So
tight, Rossi ready to make a move on in. Ready for a Yamaha to dip into picture any moment now. Rossi just tucked in behind the front row starter.
Valentino Rossi 8% to the Italian on the 8th lap, so they're struggling to stay in touch with this second group.
The guys are some of the guys from Bridgestone just pointed out, look at Rossi's lap time. He's now actually even quicker than Marquez the last couple of laps.
Wow, Rossi moves in front of Andre. Tyre choice, clear bit of road for Valentino Rossi. Who knows, there's still a long, long way to go. This could have an incredible ending, this race.
Valentino Rossi, we know, has got the extra hard rear Bridgestone tyre on, so durability you would think would be much better with his rear tyre than those in front of him. Marquez moving the final corner, Cal behind him. Rossi just moving into 4th, as we know, by Ian. Down to the 1st corner. Rossi now really close up on the back wheel of Rossi. Surely he'll pounce soon on Cal, get the British rider off the podium.
We have a go at turn 5 at the end of that, the long back straight. They're through 2, up to 3, and then to 4. So Rossi right behind him. Rossi may have a nibble here. We ride with Valentino Rossi down towards turn 5. Don't think he's quite close enough. Brilliant onboard stuff as we switch back, riding with them to Rossi. But that number 46 is bang in his face and not past him.
The two riders on the last lap in the 139s. One is 4 seconds clear at the front of this race. The other one, Valentino Rossi, number 46, the 9 times world champion, having a good look at back to 4th. Rossi now inside the top 3.
Rossi up into 3rd place. Cotto now coming under pressure.
Last lap, he's so popular, Keith. He has to have that special walkway, doesn't he, from where he gets changed. And did it last night. That's you're upset.
He's up the inside again for the 3rd time here at Termas de Rio Hondo. The Argentine Grand Prix winner has done it by a massive, massive margin with a soft rear tyre. And in 2nd place will surely be Valentino Rossi. The doctor comes through to take a significant 2nd.
He didn't manage to win the race today. He still put on a great show. The applause from the team and fans is definitely deserved. These days, the podium is extremely valuable. Motogp has never had so many competitive riders at the same time. Today, they were at their best, and they deserve to celebrate. The level of the championship is only getting better. Consistent results seem to be the secret to a good season.